So I have just finished every single Roblox game inside the classic event. However, I haven't 100%ed it yet because I still need a developer slice and the K-Cat, which at the time of recording this, I am 485 in queue. Yeah, I'm never getting this. So the way this video is gonna work, I'm gonna be judging games based on how much they tried and how easy it is to get the badge. Now, easy doesn't mean it's gonna be high ranking, but it does help it in the ranking a little bit compared to some of these games. You know what I'm talking about. This event is meant to be fun and engaging to the players, so things like AFKing, tedious grinding for no reason, or just something really repetitive is going to be ranked lower on the list despite having effort in the game. Now, there are 15 games in one hub. I will be including the hub, so this is going to be a top 16 list. And funnily enough, the number 16 spot was probably one of the hardest things to decide because there are so many bad games in this event. However, there is one in particular that I think stands out and is just overall an awful experience. Coming in at number 16, we have Restaurant Tycoon 2. Now, to say that this one sucked is an understatement. This one was just pure misery. And I'm saying that as a person who already had a developed restaurant. Now, to get the tokens, you had to serve classic meals to, I think, 120 classic people or 150. I don't know. I stopped count. If you have a developed restaurant, it doesn't seem that bad up until you realize that you can only get it for people that have the little classic tag over them. And I'm gonna be so real. This event in particular really did nothing to add to the whole classic Roblox thing. But if I'm being real here, it seems like they took like 10 minutes out of their day to cook something up for Roblox. I don't know if it's because they had a bad deadline or something like that, but really it's inexcusable. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it took me around an hour and a half to actually beat this with a developed restaurant, by the way. So if you don't have a restaurant and you're trying to 100% it, good luck because you're gonna have an awful time. Now, coming in at number 15, we have Adopt Me. And to be honest with you, you could probably switch this out with Restaurant Tycoon 2 because they're both unbelievably bad. And to be honest with you, I thought this was going to be a great event because they did an amazing job with the hunt event. However, that was not the case. Instead, you had to raise a teapot, a classic teapot. And you're probably thinking, corny, surely they added more things than just a teapot to raise for the classic event. And you're right, they actually added one more small thing, the castle from Crossroads, so you can talk to the NPC and start your quest. That is it. That is the only thing else they added. And so in order to complete this event, you have to sit through the monotonous probably hour and a half of raising a teapot. And to be honest with you, there's no way you can really speed it up. And so most of the time, you're just gonna have to AFK until you get a pop-up so you can actually do something with the teapot. And you have to level it up 5 times for the 5 tokens. I'm gonna be so honest. I have no idea how this got green-lighted or how Roblox saw this and was like, yeah, I think this is a great idea. Because I don't know about you, but a Roblox event shouldn't require you to AFK. That would be like the equivalent of me hyping up one of my most massive videos and then releasing it and 8 minutes of it is just a black screen. Like, seriously, did anybody at Roblox play this at all? I feel like these events would be exponentially better if they stuck David Baszucki in a room and would not let him out until the event was over. And maybe, just maybe, he'd realize that, hey, maybe these shouldn't be so grindy. In fact, can we get a petition for David Baszucki to make a live stream and sit in a room until the event was over? Because I guarantee you that man would not be able to complete his own event. I guarantee it. You could give him all the resources in the world, but that would be the most boring stream to watch of all time. I think watching paint dry 10 times over would be actually faster than completing half of this event. I'm sorry, I got a little sidetracked and a little bit worked up about the whole AFK thing, but it just really made me mad. So let's just go to number 14. Coming at number 14, we have Toilet Tower Defense. Now, the reason why this one isn't 16 is just simply the fact that you don't have to have any prior knowledge of what Toilet Tower Defense is to actually beat the event. Like, I'm gonna be honest, they really didn't do anything with the event itself. I think they added maybe a boss and the Crossroads map, but besides that, you just have to complete a series of challenges that were already in the game in the first place. And thankfully, because I'm a YouTuber, people actually donated me a bunch of legendary items so I could actually just speed through this one. So if that was one of you guys, thank you so much for doing that. That made this event somewhat bearable. Coming in at number 13, we have Driving Empire. Now, I know what everybody's gonna say, this should be the one at 16, but I can't in good conscience put this in 16th because they actually did put some effort into the event. Like, they had their own special islands where it was all classic Roblox themed. It was honestly pretty big, and there was a few things to do on there, mostly racing, and you could also do a little taxi service and pick up people or like the classic Roblox characters. But that's where the good ends, because this is one of the only games that's actually pay to win. For 10 Robux, you can get yourself a ticks tracker, and it'll tell you where all the ticks are, which, I mean, it's 10 Robux, not a big deal. But what I have a problem with is the fact that they made the rewards for the tokens so unbelievably grindy to get. If you didn't buy the 2 times reward bonus thing, you were cooked. Like, straight up, you were cooked. I remember seeing people say that they had to do the event like 50 times over or 50 races over just to get all 5 tokens. I thought they were joking. Turns out they weren't joking. And so you were faced with 2 options. You can, 1, grind out the taxi service that gave you 3 points per delivery, or you could do the race that would give you 12 points per delivery. And do you want to know how many points you needed to get the 5th token? 500 points. So the options really were pay like 60 Robux to get the double times rewards, or get I'ma be real. I may or may not have spent that 60 Robux. I know. I have sinned. I cannot be forgiven. But at the end of the day, I am a Roblox YouTuber and I do have Robux to spend, okay? I'm very sorry. Driving Empire got 13th place out of pity. This honestly could have been the top 10 if it didn't make it so grindy. But obviously, when there's a money incentive to keep people inside your game, 99% of the time, these soulless developers will take all your money and smile. So yeah, Driving Empire, if you're watching this video, this is by far my least favorite game in this list. And I'm gonna politely ask that you never sponsor me or do anything related with me. I don't want to touch you with a 10-foot pole because clearly you guys are motivated more by money than the actual player experience, and it's really obvious. Coming in at number 12, we have Bed Wars, and this is part of the list where things are going to start looking up. I would honestly call those first 4 games the depths of hell. And if you plan on only getting the items within the event, don't play these games in particular because these next 12 are way better. And speaking of number 12, we have Bed Wars. Now, I will say Bed Wars event within itself actually wasn't too terrible. However, if you're trying to do this by yourself in a public lobby, this is probably gonna be the most miserable badge on the entire list. To get all 5 tokens, you need to get to wave 10 in their little survival game. However, if you had no idea what you were doing, just like me, and you didn't have a skilled group of players, well, you were basically screwed. Don't get me wrong, I really love the idea of a PvE game with penguins god bridging over to you and breaking your bed. However, the difficulty scale, it really should have been fine-tuned because it was really hard. My team that I used comprised the people that had over 3,000 wins, and even then we still struggled to get to wave 10. In fact, we almost lost at wave 9. It was really scary. But once again, even though I had fun, objectively, this game is probably one of the worst ones for casual players. I think it was pretty amazing what they did, but once again, they should have just tuned the difficulty down just a little notch because, oh my god, that was terrible. I feel like I had a better time fighting the Nameless King inside Dark Souls 3 than I did having to beat Bed Wars. Crazy statement, by the way. Coming in at number 11, we have Livetopia. Now, I'm going to be honest with you, Livetopia didn't really do that much for the event. I actually have never really played Livetopia outside of the hunt, and that's really about it. But honestly, compared to all the other events that we have done so far, this is one of the easier ones, and it really isn't that hard. A potato could do this event. This one really requires no guide whatsoever. The ticks are really obvious, and all you have to do is, I think, make 30 deliveries to people. A little bit tedious, but honestly, really chill. All right, finally, we are in the top 10, and coming in at number 10, we have Blade Ball. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. This one, there's a little bias here. I really don't like Blade Ball that much. It's okay, but what I thought they did a really good job of was the actual boss fight every 5 rounds if you had a lobby more than 4 people. They also made a bunch of classic exclusive maps where you can find ticks on each one of the maps, which is really amazing. However, problem is that it's really heavily RNG based. There's a solid chance that you could not run into a single one of these maps and not be able to complete the event because of it. Also, they do a bunch of challenges that really weren't that hard. I really think anybody could have done them. But once again, I'm just kind of biased because I really don't like Blade Ball that much. So that's why it's at number 10. Coming in at number 9, we have Bee Swarm Simulator. This was my very first classic game I played, and honestly, I thought they did a reasonably good job. Just like classic Roblox, they kept everything very, very simple. The entire purpose around this game's event was a PvE survival game. However, it required not having any bees. You could do this 100% legitimately. You would never ever have to touch Bee Swarm Simulator, which is something I love. Now, as somebody who has actually grinded out Bee Swarm Simulator in their free time, I don't want to talk about it, okay? It was my guilty pleasure. But even having OPBs, it actually really didn't help with the event at all. And best part is, I got it on my first try. So thank you, Bee Swarm Simulator, keeping it simple. Coming in at number 8, we have Dragon Adventures. Honestly, I didn't know where to put this game. One, because this is just not my type of game. I would never play this outside of the event. And two, they also did a pretty good job, but they didn't really keep me engaged that much. One thing I will say, however, they're the only game to keep things kind of personalized. Everybody's locations of the eggs were different. So thankfully, really looking up a guide is basically useless because none of the locations that they'd have would actually apply to you. And thankfully, just like Bee Swarm, they kept everything really, really simple. All you had to do was fly around, collect some classic eggs, and then collect 2 Tix eggs, and then destroy a meteor, incubate the eggs, rinse and repeat 5 times. They had 5 different custom areas with some of the old classic Roblox stuff. Honestly, it was pretty good, but once again, not my type of game. But coming into number 7, we do have my type of game, Gunfight Arena. Now, I am not gonna lie, I really liked what they did with this, but the reason why this isn't ranked higher is just because of the pure imbalance of the game. This badge suffers from the fact that it's too easy. All you have to do is just play with the classic weapons it gives you. You gotta get like 100 kills with the rocket launcher, another 50 with the slingshot, 50 with the dodgeball, I think another 100 with the paintball gun, which sounds like a lot, but believe me, or all of your opponents are bots. Combine this with the fact that you can literally put force fields down in their spawn and spawn camp them over and over and over again. It was just too easy. I kid you not, every single game I played, which I think I played 4 rounds of it, I got over 120 kills per. I honestly think they did a great job with the weapons themselves. All of them function really, really well, besides maybe the dodgeball. However, it would have been fun if I was actually fighting against real people instead of AI. Because the second my neurodivergent brain realized that they're bots, all the fun just disappeared. I thought I was doing really good. I mean, I was killing it, literally. But yeah, because it's all bots, this one's actually really easy to get, and I would probably go ahead and get this badge. But coming in at number 6, we have Clip It. Now, I wasn't expecting a Roblox TikTok carbon copy to do a really good job. However, I put my bias aside, and I actually played the event, and I honestly thought it was one of the best crafted games in the event, including the hunt events too. They did an amazing job with this one. Essentially, you had to go around in maps and make TikToks with the players that you have to find. I think you have to find like Soletsky, Builderman, the hacker guy, and John Doe and Jane Doe. And quick off topic, I actually just finally got into this person's Roblox lobby only to find out that the admin actually left right before I joined. And I'm gonna be real, I started recording this like an hour and a half ago. So now I gotta go into another developer lobby. Oh my God. I am now 173rd in queue. Life sucks. But back to what I was saying. But yeah, Clip It made custom maps for these. They made little puzzles. It was basically one giant maze. And I'm so glad I finished off with this one, because if I finished off with Driving Empire, yeah, I don't think I'd be here right now. Coming in at number 5, Dress to Impress. Once again, I can't believe I'm putting this so high up on the list, but they did a bang up job with this. Just like Clip It, they made this one really easy, but also really engaging. So the first thing you have to do is collect around 7 ticks in the lobby. And then once you do that, in the intermission area, there's like 3 more ticks that you can get, and then a portal opens. This portal leads to a parkour area. The parkour area is actually pretty big and takes maybe like 15-20 minutes to complete. It was engaging enough for me not to care about its difficulty. One of my favorite things that they did with this is that they made the old Roblox building style beautiful. Honestly, for Dress to Impress to go above and beyond and do this, we did not deserve this. So Dress to Impress, if you guys are watching this, I didn't even like, you know, Dress to Impress, but if y'all want to sponsor me for a video, I will sit down and do a video on Dress to Impress. That's how good this was. But coming in at number 4, we have Dusty Trip. Now, Dusty Trip was a game I had never played before this, but now that I've played it, honestly, the game is pretty good. And the reason why this one is above all the other ones is because this one kind of made a story with it. I'm not going to spoil the plot or anything that happens, but essentially all you got to do is drive in a straight road, and they give you basically free everything. They give you infinite food, infinite ammo, infinite gas, and overall, it was a really relaxing but very fun experience, especially if you do it with friends. I highly recommend getting friends for this one. This is how all the Roblox games should be modeled in this event, but unfortunately, they're not. Coming in at number 3, we have Tower Defense Simulator. Now, I know people are going to be mad at it because I put this in number 3, but I have my reasons. Number 1, it's just not my type of game. You know, Tower Defense Simulator has never been my type of game. However, I can admit when a game is good. And essentially what they made you do is you have to go through 5 different missions. And thankfully, they actually give you the towers that you need for these missions. You won't actually have to do any playing beforehand to actually do this. I even skipped a tutorial for this. I will admit though, I did have some hard time starting off, but once I realized that you could just spam soldiers like no tomorrow, things weren't so bad. That is until the final mission. Oh my god, is this mission hard? But it's fair. It's a fair hard. It's not like Bed Wars hard where, you know, things just do infinite amount of damage to you and you're cooked. If you strategize properly and think about what you're placing down, you will have no problem beating it. And even though this probably took me an hour and a half, 2 hours to beat, I still had a very fun 2 hours. It honestly really was very fun. But coming in at number 2, we have Arsenal. And as a Phantom Forces player at heart, it hurts me to say this. It really does. But when you give Arsenal the chance to cook they will. This is by far my favorite Roblox classic game. And honestly, it's even better if you have friends with you. It also makes it a lot quicker. So essentially, all you have to do is you have to beat a little campaign game mode. But after you beat the campaign game mode, you also have to do a series of challenges with it. And then on top of that, if you pay close attention to the level, there's a lot of hidden tick spots, which are really good. And it honestly kind of reminded me of playing through Doom Eternal or Doom 2016. You can 100% find all the ticks without a guide if you just pay attention. You'll notice that certain details are altered around places that ticks are. For example, here's a freebie. When you're fighting the mini boss guy the first time, there is a little tube that is slightly tinted green. Go inside of there and you'll get teleported to a secret ticks room. Honestly, really cool, and you just have to play the entire thing for yourself. Now, if you notice, I said all 15 games, but we still have one more left. And if you have half a brain, you already know exactly what I'm about to say, but if you don't and you're left scratching your head, let me spell it out for you. Coming in at number 1, we have the hub. No, not that hub. Oh my god, you're so gross. The classic hub. They knocked this one out of the park. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, the other hunt lobby was maybe a 4 out of 10 at best. This lobby is a 10 out of 10. It showcases what made old Roblox old Roblox. It has the cart rides. It has the obbies. It has the guess who. It has so many secret areas. You really couldn't have asked for a better hunt lobby. And thankfully, that was the first thing I actually did, was the hub itself. And I got to experience it with my viewers firsthand. And we found a bunch of secrets together, and it was honestly really, really fun. But here we are finally at the end of the video. If you guys enjoyed this list and agreed with it, please leave a like and subscribe, because these videos take a long time to make. Let's go ahead and get a mental health check on my editor. Hey, you seemed happy enough. Anyways, guys, I hope to see you guys in the next one. Enjoy the rest of your guys' day. Bye-bye.